I'm Éanna Nilauna, and this lesson is on the elder tree. And here we have a lovely big elder tree in the grounds of the school. Do you like elder trees?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't like them if you had to smell their leaves, because there's the most horrible smell of elder leaves. Isn't there a horrible smell of those? And the reason why is because it's supposed to be an unlucky tree. That's supposed to be the tree that Judas was hanged on. Imagine. But of course, that's not true. That's only a story. This is one leaf, and as you can see, there are 5 leaflets on it, which is very typical of the elder tree. This tree has lovely berries on it in the autumn time. Look at those lovely elderberries. And we can make wine from them. Only you, of course, wouldn't be drinking wine, would you? No, you wouldn't. In autumn, there are lovely shiny berries in bunches on it, which pigeons love to eat. And in springtime, we have the most beautiful elder flowers, which are really good for bees. What do bees do?
Make honey.
They make honey, and they go to the flowers to collect the nectar, don't they?
Yeah.
And this is very important for pollination, to make the berries. And of course, in the autumn time, the birds love to eat the berries. So it's really good to have a great big elder tree in our school grounds. And the Irish name for the elder tree is called Trim. And there's a town in County Meath called after the elder tree, and it's also called Trim. So that's my lesson on the elder tree.
And thanks for joining. We now have Orla Farrell, founder of the Easy Treesie project, who is going to chat with Brendan Fitzsimons, CEO of the Tree Council of Ireland, about how to plant an elder tree.
Siobhan, and thank you so much to you, to Brendan and the Tree Council for hosting this little video. And also thank you for putting me in touch with MeerGroen, who came to visit us from the Netherlands as part of their European tour and demonstrated this technique. So because of my teaching background, horticulture wouldn't be my level of, or wouldn't be my expertise. So it was very exciting to join up with the MeerGroen team and head off with them in their van with their collection of spades and secateurs and various tree planting implements, fiberglass spades, we have to get some of those, and to head off around the different events that were happening during this year's National Tree Week and hear their great expertise in growing things. So a very exciting little element of what they did with us, this team, was to demonstrate the great simplicity of growing a tree from a cutting. So we've been very fortunate in the Easy Treesie project, where we're planting 1 million trees with Ireland's 1 million school children and their communities. So we've been very lucky with a lot of support that we've gained from local authorities, from nurseries all around the country, with a special mention of the Our Nursery, who have been growing saplings and fruit trees for our various communities. So the Dutch project, they, in fact, their tagline, I think, is "Let nature be your nursery." Kick off for the week, where we were out in Little Pace in Fingal with some school children and the local authority team from Fingal, and we came across an elder growing in the hedgerow there. This was just at the end of the tree dormant season. And they demonstrated to us how you can cut a length from the elder during its sleeping season, if you like, from roughly November to March. And by just using this little stick about the length of a school ruler, 30 centimeters or so, by cutting a length like that, they had now, I'm afraid my secateurs is very rusty. And of course, the secateurs is a sharp tool. So we'd ask the children to have adult supervision if they're using such sharp tools. So they were cutting lengths of elder, and this does not damage the elder itself. And using the sharp point, and that's another little safety point to mention, that the sharp point is something that you could hurt yourself with. So this sharp point was plunged straight into the ground. So I have here one of the lengths of elder that were cut during that morning out in North Dublin. And I put it straight into, first of all, a plastic bag. So that's another bit of equipment that you need. We are inviting people to join us with this initiative. Halloween this year we thought might be a good time. So we're advised that a plastic bag is an important bit of kit if you have cut your length of elder. And it suggested there would be about 6 little nodes along this length of elder. You know, this one is quite thick. It's as thick as my middle finger, but it can be any thickness. Now, I would always prefer to plant 3 rather than 1, because not all of these lengths of elder are going to grow. So I'm lucky enough to have 2 elders in my garden, and I brought along some sprigs of elder today, so that children around the country would be able to identify the elder. So of course we have Éanna Ní Lamhna's lovely video on the elder. We filmed that in September in the National Botanic Gardens, if I remember correctly. I think that's where the elder was. So it had berries on it at that stage. So we're asking the children now to see if they can identify an elder somewhere near where they live during Biodiversity Week, or between now and next Halloween. And I had a teacher colleague, Anita, who had been trained to ask the trees permission if you were if you were taking a flower or a branch off it. So you might like to do that. And even more importantly, can we ask also the owner of the tree, because even though it doesn't do the tree any harm to have a bit of pruning, in fact, it can do it good. Even lengths of elder that look like they're dead, apparently they can spring to life when they're given more light. So anyway, we'll ask you to look out for these lovely white flowers that you'll see all over the country during May. And this is what the leaves look like. They're compound leaves, I suppose, not unlike the ash. Not to be confused with the maybush or the hawthorn. You see white flowers all over those in the hedgerows as well at the moment. So that is the mission now, if you choose to accept it, to identify an elder that is growing somewhere near where you live. Seek out permission to take a length of the elder, not now, but once the tree becomes dormant, that means when the leaves have fallen off. And that is a good time to harvest your length of elder you could call it a wand, about the same length as a wand. Put it into then a plastic bag. I like these silicone bags because you can reuse them. Of course, you can reuse the plastic bag as well. My grandmother used to always have a plastic bag and a scissor in her handbag because she used to love to take cuttings. It's quite an old-fashioned trick, taking cuttings. Anyway, I am going to have a secateurs and plastic bag in my handbag because not only can this magic happen with cuttings from elder, but it's very successful with trees such as the willow and the spindle as well. So that's 3 of our native varieties that I know of that can be propagated in this fashion. So the elder. Now, I was delighted to have 2 elders growing in my garden. I never planted them. I'd say the birds were responsible for planting these elders in the garden. And my eldest daughter got married almost 2 years ago, and she wanted to have a special drink. We were just not quite coming out of the lockdown, but the wedding had been delayed for a year and a half because of COVID. And so she wanted a really joyful cocktail. The wedding was taking place in our garden. So I volunteered to make some elderflower cordial. And I had made it before, and I was surprised at how easy it is to make with the flowers. Some sugar, some lemons. I don't think there were any other ingredients. And it was such a success that my daughter's sister volunteered to make a wedding cake using the elderflower cordial. So we had elderflower flavored wedding cake as well. It was delicious. Now I see Jamie Oliver has a recipe for elderflower champagne, so I haven't tried that yet, but it does sound exciting. You can make elderflower lemonade. And our MeerGroen Netherlands colleagues were explaining a great recipe they have where you can make these wonderful pancakes where you dip the flour. Now these are still a bit green, these ones, so I haven't tried it yet, but you make a sort of light pancake batter. You dip your, do you wash it first? I suppose you would wash it first. Well, I mean, if it was in someplace dusty, yes, I would wash it first. You don't want to make pancakes out of any little insects either, I suppose, that would be crawling around. So it's just the flour part. Now, I can't recommend this because I haven't tried it yet, but our Dutch colleagues say that it's wonderful. So you dip this flour in the batter, then you put the whole thing, not the branches, but I think you hold it somehow into a frying pan. And then you just eat it straight off the branch, and then you throw away the branch. So that sounds exciting. So it'll be very interesting to hear people's recipes with elder flowers, or indeed elderberries. I know that there are lots of recipes for elderberry.
You can make jam and wine out of them.
Oh, have you experienced that, Brendan, at all?
Yes, I have. I didn't make it myself for my dad.
That's all right. We don't have to do everything ourselves. Yeah, very good. Well, delegation is, yes, is of course how we get a lot of things done. So we have planted now. We're coming up to the 500,000 mark, right, Brendan?
Yeah.
With different groups. The GAA has planted, I think, roughly 40,000 saplings with this year, 30,000 last year. And between all our projects, we're nearly halfway to our goal of planting 1 million trees. So
by 2025.
But yes, well, I suppose it may be. Well, look at, if every child in Ireland stuck an elder wand into the ground next Halloween, that would be 1 million, in a day, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would, if they all grew. Well, the advantages of putting elder in where, we were in Baldoyle walking around our original project, the very first one, where we started with the Plant for the Planet Tree Academy, and we planted 300 saplings in 105 minutes with our Tree Academy group. So they have grown fine. You know, they were there beside a stream. Water wasn't a problem. However, we spread up along the stream with all the other schools in the area, and so the trees, they're a little younger as you walk towards the sea. And our Dutch colleagues paid a visit to this site and complimented us on the diversity of species, because we had, there's a big number of species there now. Every time we went back, we would bring something suitable, right tree, right place, and something appropriate. And they were recommending that, in fact, we did it on the spot. We stuck elder wands here and there underneath an old canopy that was there. It had existed for some time. I think there's some poplars that may be coming to the end of their natural life. So we renewed the canopy underneath with some of these elder wands, and we stuck some in between some of the newer trees. And the advantages, they were saying, for this pretty newly planted area are that the elder grows very fast. It doesn't live very long. I think they said maybe around 50 years. While it's growing, though, obviously it'll capture carbon, and it provides shelter for trees that are much slower growing, that could last hundreds of years. So it is a very useful tree for that. That was one of the reasons. And I suppose it has the effect of being a nurse tree for those slower growing trees as well, helping them grow straighter, because they have a community of trees. And of course, diversity, good in every way. So this is, you don't often see elder saplings on sale. I'm not sure we've ever gone out and planted elder saplings. So I thought this would be a really nice way for our communities to introduce another bit of diversity to their existing bits of planting. A very nice school experiment, and very nice to put. Elder doesn't grow very big, so as I said, I have two in the garden, and they are lovely shelter. In the lovely shelter in the summer, and the birds seem to like them. So all around.
I suppose it's an ideal garden tree because you can chop it to your heart's content, and it just keeps coming back. So it's not like you're going to do any damage or anything. So if you want it, whatever size you want it, you can keep it there. Yes.
It doesn't have to stay there forever. You can have the fact that it's free. It's very, very useful. We say there's no such thing as a free tree. In this case, though, it really is nature's bounty. There you are. I mean, I was really excited as well watching the leaves come out on this. It has a little root as well. Bringing it in here today, I noticed. There is a little root. I suppose you could put it in water for a while. You could do that with the willow if you're waiting to plant it, but the sooner it goes in the ground, the better. Now, the thing about putting it in the ground at Halloween, of course, is that it won't get leaves until the spring. So for the children, they'd want a bit of patience waiting for the leaves to come out.
And is it true, Orla, that elder is the wood that was used to make the wand for Harry Potter?
Well, I went into one of our big bookshops in Dublin there last week, and I spotted some Harry Potter wands on 50% off sale in a corner, and I thought, oh, that's exciting. Now they had, I think, 9 different kinds of wand. So they were, can you remember what the wands were? it's a while since I've read through the book, but we have got a pretty good roll call of Irish native tree wands there in that Harry Potter list, which you wouldn't be surprised by, given that we share a lot of our common tree varieties with the UK. So they were made of plastic though, so I didn't buy one. I think with these wands, you didn't know what you got until you opened the box and you had bought it, and you might get Malfoy's wand. So of course, I wouldn't want that. So yes, we'll have to reread that. But I'm pretty. Oh, yew was a very popular wand, but we don't want the children handling yew. It is a poisonous tree, so we don't have that problem with the elder.
Okay. Orla, thanks for that. That's very informative, and hopefully, given it's so easy to get elder trees growing, just take a bit off and stick them in the ground and off they go. You can also do that with poplars, aspens, and several others, by the way. It's not just the elder, but the elder is probably the best for flowers and fruits and biodiversity and fitting in a garden and all that sort of thing. So I think at that stage, it's time for us to wrap up. And thank you for your
contribution. I could talk all day, Brendan, about trees, but as you know, the motto of the World Trillion Tree Project with Plant for the Planet, it's stop talking, start planting.
Grow more than 25 years, 50 years.
Oh, right.
So what you do, these ones are, the smaller the branches become, the older and the more fatigued it becomes.
Yes.
So this tree will grow longer if you cut the big branches out, and it makes new shoots that go on for 10 years.
Really? Huh.
And the beauty of it, I'm going to take one example.
Okay.
The beauty of the black elder is, that's why Harry Potter uses it as well.
A wand. We have a wand.
If you put this
Yes.
in the ground, like this, you have a new album. That's it.
Super. I like it. Magic.
And you can get 500 or 300 of those branches, and even this thickness will do it.
Wow. Yeah.
Up to this size.
Super. Thank you.